Well, the premise of today's show is, what will this show be? And of course, we're a little while into it. We still have no answers really where this is going or where we've been or where we could possibly end up. But Jim, where the listeners can end up.
You know what? I tell you what. I got
What?
I got an email here from something that we were talking to. You want to talk about these shady drugs that apparently, according to Jelly Nutella, all the kids are taking these days from truck stops and smoke shops and things of that nature?
You know, after we talked about that, I heard from several wrestlers who none of them said they use it, but they did say that it is something frequently used. One of them said it's gross. Another one said it's the new bane of this generation. That seems like it would be really bad, but no one's, died from this stuff yet or whatever. But we've definitely heard feedback that, I don't know if it was 85% or whatever he said it was, but there is a percentage of wrestlers who are
85% probably of his social circle, and you can imagine the kind of elbows that he rubs. But no, I got an email to both of us, but it's from our friend Tyler. He signs off, "Much love, your friend."
Oh.
So he's our lover and our friend.
Hello, Tyler.
So
why was the awkward pause there after you said that? There was no reason.
Well, no, because I'm trying to find the stuff. Hold on here. I didn't mark this. I've looked at the wrong paragraph. Oh, stop playing with your organ. I'm trying to find the okay. He says it was Jelly Nutella who mentioned that someone had taken Sabu to get Kratom or something, quote unquote, to help him through his final match. While Kratom, in its natural plant form, is often used as a harm reduction tool, especially for those trying to get off opioids, there's a more dangerous twist to the story that's not often discussed. See, it's always the dangerous twist, Brian. That's where it gets dangerous. In smoke shops and gas stations across the United States, especially in states where Kratom is legal. So now apparently it's mixed on this, depending on where you are. It says it could be or it could not be legal. We are now seeing the rise of a highly concentrated lab-isolated compound derived. I sound like I'm doing one of our commercials now. This is not a highly concentrated lab-isolated compound derived from Kratom called 7-hydroxymitragynine, commonly referred to as 7-O, and that's what we'll say from now on. This isn't natural Kratom. This is a chemically enhanced extract that's significantly more potent. 7-O binds very strongly to opioid receptors and is estimated to be several times more powerful than morphine. It's available legally in pill, vape, and candy forms for the kids. You know, the kid is little junior dipshit down the street, stubbed his toe. Give him some fucking super morphine.
I'll have the Bela Lugosi gummies.
Tyler goes on to say, I can confirm it's being sold in nearly every shop around here in Grundy, Virginia, an old Smoky Mountain town. And I use the word town kind of loosely here since there can't be 3,000 people in Grundy, Virginia. So they're selling this stuff in Grundy, Virginia. I'm sure the same applies to Louisville and countless other places. Here's the scary part. We haven't got there yet. 7-O is extremely addictive. And because it falls under the broader legal umbrella of Kratom, it's largely unregulated. There are no clinical studies on long-term use, interactions, or safety. It's a legal gray area that's being exploited fast. From the reports and behavior described after Sabu took the substance, it lines up eerily well with known effects of 7-O. Drowsiness, confusion, impaired motor control, and in some cases, respiratory depression. If he did indeed consume a concentrated form of 7-O, and we don't know whether he was 7-0 or whether he was Hawaii 5-0. We don't know what he was, but it may have opened the door to an aggressive and dangerous level of substance abuse. Well, I think that door's been off the hinges for a while there, but Tyler just wanted to put this out there in case it helps paint a clearer picture of what may have happened. Apparently, Tyler, in Grundy, Virginia, you are just the fact that you can spell hydroxymitragynine indicates that you're potentially too informed about this subject to be a normal resident of Grundy. So this sounds like this stuff can't miss.
You know, I first heard about it about a week before the story about Sabu's last match came out. I saw an interview with our friend Theo Vaughn he conducted with Kevin Von Erich, and I had to see it because it's Kevin Von Erich, and I find him endlessly fascinating.
Yes.
And I believe he said in there that he got off his addiction to painkillers due to Kratom, which now, as we're hearing, I guess, is it a synthetic opiate or is it not synthetic because it comes from the natural plant?
No, it is, and then we actually even had people tweeting at us and everything when we talked about Jelly's interview, and that's the first time I'd ever heard of this shit. People are defending it. Well, I use it. They don't knock Kratom because I use it to withdraw myself from this or because of chronic pain with this or that or the other thing. And again, if there is a legitimate use for Kratom because it's a plant, it grows. I'm not saying that the whole thing should be just balled up and thrown away, but I don't like the idea that you're getting it in gas stations. If it's in any way supposed to be a helpful drug, it ought to go through proper channels. And secondly, I don't care whether it helped you or not. It certainly didn't help the situation where a 60-year-old man with a history of multiple serious injuries and drug abuse was put into a no-rope barbed wire death match with a fucking idiot. So I don't think the goddamn polio vaccine would have been helpful in that situation. Do you, Brian?
Again, the match was an unfortunate series of decisions. But, in terms
of an unfortunate series of people.
In terms of this, though, the idea that it's a opioid or a synthetic opioid or an opioid derivative, and it has the same effects on wrestlers, we went through an era where that was devastating. And again, we're talking there about OxyContin, we're talking about Somas, we're talking about Nubane, we're talking about all sorts of muscle relaxers and pain relievers that wiped out a generation of performers, actually. If you think about everyone that died in one way or another due to those chemicals, it's a generation of performers. Again, I'm guessing this isn't that bad. Again, you don't necessarily want to trust something if it's sold only in truck stops and head shops.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about is, are they going to find out in 4 or 5 years that, there may have been some benefit in a medical or clinical fucking situation for whatever is going on here, but not when, Zippy's truck stop sold it, next to the caffeine pills or whatever, and everybody's just taking too much and it grows some kind of goddamn horrible cancer in your brain.
And it shouldn't be, hey, this guy can't walk, give him this fucking opioid so we can get him in the ring.
So he can hold himself up with the ropes. Oh shit, forgot. That's barbed wire. Well, put him in the middle.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess I don't know anything about it. Is there any kind of regulation of this? Again, if it's in head shops and gas stations.
Well, it says it's legal. Or Tyler said that it was legal in some states, which means some states it's not. But the same thing can be said for weed. The same thing can be said for a variety of other things. But in this case, I think this bears a little more fucking investigation. As far as what your source is before.
You should go with something more legitimate, like magic mushrooms.
Well, there you go. And a lot of these turd blossoms probably spend a lot of time around those things.
Well, I guess
they're growing under the same fucking dung heap.
Same turd. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it's your show, Brian.
All right. Well, this has been Drug Education with C. Everett Koop. We will now move on here with the show. Jim, of course.
Wait a minute. Now Travis is going to draw me a C. Everett corn.
He may have done that
God
already
damn it.
once. I don't know. It's been a long
No,
time.
I think I was Captain Corngaroo.
Captain Corngaroo. Well, whether
Did you ever notice how much C. Everett Koop looked like Captain Kangaroo, kind of?
Never. No. I mean, the hairstyle.
He looked like an evil Captain Kangaroo in the fucking outfit and everything.
Well, whether you are hopping around like a kangaroo,
yeah,
or doing something else, you may want to get something, or hooked on the new Bane, you may want to get something from Cornette's Collectibles.
Oh, I forgot that I'm still running a business. Yes, and you're getting things from Cornette's Collectibles because before the cataclysmic weather events of the past several days, the Hotchkiss Featherbottom family was entrusted with several hundred packages that are already being shipped out to the fine folks and more on the way. We're going to be caught up to date by around about June the 1st, folks. If you have ordered anything in the month of May, it's going to be winging its way to you by June the 1st. And there's more left, including the last few remaining action figures. There's some Smoky Mountain Wrestling event tickets. There are also some, just regular fine products with a quality that you can depend on and a price that you can appreciate at jimcornette.com at Cornette's Collectibles. I should have done the farm report on morning radio. You know, I was born too late. I could have teamed up with my Uncle Dink over in Hopkinsville on WHOP. He did the mornings on WHOP. Dink Embry did the mornings on WHOP radio for 25, 30 years, however long it was. And whenever I would visit my grandmother before she passed away, when I was a little kid, we'd get up early in the morning, listen to the radio, and listen to Uncle Dink. They named a street after him out in Hopkinsville, I found out not too long ago, a year or two ago. Dink Embry Boulevard, outside the radio station. He was actually married to my father's brother's widow. So he was technically in the family by, actually he was in the family by marriage, but she was in the family by marriage. So if a man marries a woman that's in the family by marriage, then he's technically in a family by marriage too.
Yeah, he's your uncle completely removed. Yes.
Well, she completely removed him. That's right. You know, no, that's my favorite line of Uncle. He did stand up also. Played the guitar and did comedy routines at the FFA meetings. I have actually an album that he recorded over in Lexington at a Future Farmers Association meeting. And my favorite line was, he was talking about his wife. He said, she's a great housekeeper. She was married 3 times, kept the house every time.
Not bad. Pretty good line. Well,
not bad for Hopkinsville.
Support Uncle Dink, Cornette's Collectibles at jimcornette.com.
Yes, Uncle Dink needs the money.